The origins for this bill, of course, arise from the revolution that took place in Aotearoa in 1989 under Tomorrow's Schools. And when that legislation swept into place, the responsibilities for governance and management of schools shifted from government to individual schools. Each school was to be governed by an elected board of trustees who would be responsible not just for the management of the school, but also for the legal compliance with national education guidelines. This brought with it the power to employ teachers to hold the principal accountable for performance issues, to manage finances, school property and the implementation of the curriculum. This bill essentially extends those 1989 powers to the fullest degree, enabling boards of trustees to manage their own affairs by having full control over the employment of teachers at their school. Teacher salaries are currently paid out directly by the Crown. This bill will remove that obligation from the Crown and place it in the hands of boards of trustees via the grants process. It is a radical move. In a technical sense, it is literally the creation of a new Section 91, which states that the payment of all teacher salaries must be paid out by the Board of Trustees from grants paid to it under Section 79 of the Act. But more than that, it is about consolidating the autonomy and the self-determined direction of the local school. It is about establishing their total and absolute control. Associated with that, of course, is the potential for discrimination or questionable practice by the boards in hiring teachers granted their newly acquired authority under this bill. While we are keen to learn how the unfettered power and authority of boards of trustees would be monitored and scrutinised, we cannot overlook the significant call from many kura for autonomy, for self-managing, for self-determining schools. And I think it worthwhile to mention the same legislation which brought in Tomorrow's Schools in 1989 also brought in the provision for communities to begin new schools, the Kura Kaupapa Māori movement. Kura Kaupapa, as we all know now, is a means by which te reo Māori is the principal language of instruction, and the history, values, beliefs and practices of mana whenua are honoured and protected. They are in many ways the ultimate expression of mātauranga Māori motuhake, the full autonomy and status for Māori knowledge and values. The distinguished Professor Graham Hingangaroa Smith spells it out in more detail, and he says that the three themes of kaupapa Māori are validity and legitimacy of Māori, the survival and revival of Māori language and culture, and Māori autonomy over their cultural well-being in their own lives. It is this last principle which has really influenced us in considering this bill. It is about the relationship between autonomy and mana motuhake, self-determination and independence. We consider the questions as to how kura can demonstrate meaningful control over one's own life and cultural well-being. And so when the Māori Party came across this bill, we saw in it the possibility to respond to the call from kura, which was to support the ability of Māori to make their own decisions as an example of Māori educational independence. If there's one thing the Māori Party is really keen to support, it is to provide a mechanism by which we can attract wānau hapu and iwi to engage with Parliament in creating a vision for Māori educational independence, prosperity and success. In line with our usual practice at first readings then, and in the hope that Māori will be able to contribute at the Select Committee stage, we will support this bill into the first reading, and this bill will allow the kōrero to be had. Kia ora.